Elon is back at the wheel of Tesla, and he is not messing around, doesn't have any time to waste. He wants robotaxis out now, and he wants spending down. First order of business, get rid of Rohan and Drew Baglino. What do those guys know? Get rid of them. Also, we're gonna trim the workforce by 10%. That includes service people. And apparently this morning he let go of the 40 people involved with Tesla's advertising and growth team, as well as laying off many people in the research and development team. And apparently Elon is now overseeing all of the sales for, and he's making some very drastic decisions and not afraid to publicly criticize everybody he just fired. First order of business, full self-driving. Price is down another 30%, going directly against what Elon originally promised, which was that full self-driving will only go up in price over time. There were even times where you could lock in your FSD price when you were pre-ordering the Cybertruck. Started at 7,000, then 8,000. But yeah, at one point you could lock in your Cybertruck FSD price to 10,000, and yet all these years go by, we've come full circle. FSD is now $8,000. Still probably not worth it though, because you'd have to subscribe to FSD for like 6.5 years before paying for it outright would actually be worth it. And with that amount of time, if you had that much cash laying around, just subscribe to FSD every month, and then with the extra $7.9 thousand, you could put all of that in the general stock market. You could put it in Tesla stock. Not financial advice, but basically it will outperform whatever you think FSD is going to be worth over the course of 7 years, most likely, because in the resale market, FSD typically does not add that much resale value at all. He's also cutting off the referral program, which was definitely a big sucker punch for me. As someone who's benefited a lot from Tesla referrals, I am sad once again to see them go. Tesla had an older referral program that they scrapped, and then they brought it back with this whole credit system, which I thought was very sustainable and smart, because my assumption was that, okay, if the referral program costs you too much money, you could just remove some of the more expensive perks, get rid of the free charging. Now people can only use credits on FSD or premium connectivity or on Tesla merch, or you could offer extended warranties through referral credits, or you could of course lower what people generate, so you could push all the vehicle credit systems back down so that they only make 2,000 credits per referral instead of 10,000 or 7,000, or you could remove certain vehicles if you feel like they're costing you too much to refer, so no more credits for Model Y deliveries, but there are credits for S and X deliveries. But no, that doesn't sound like a well thought out, like planned execution. What this sounds more like to me is Elon going around and just like crossing things off a list. No, get rid of that, get rid of that. He just said scrap the whole referral program, which means at the end of the month you will no longer be able to earn any credits for any reason. But luckily he was gracious enough to say that all the credits we have earned we can still use and hopefully redeem over the next year, but you're not going to be able to bring in new credits, which means pretty much everyone's credits is going to expire by around this time next year. Elon also reversed the slow incremental price increase that Tesla was kind of taunting customers with over the last couple months, where they said, hey, at the end of this month we're going to raise the price another $1,000. They did that for 2 months in a row, and then Elon took over. They slashed the prices again. So once again, the Model Y is now at an all-time low price. After the federal tax credit, it's sitting at a little over $35,000, which is amazing considering how great of a vehicle the Model Y is, although I'm personally not a fan of Elon trying to push the whole gas savings target. They redesigned the configurator to kind of have a checkbox for here's the vehicle price versus here's what it costs with the tax credit plus gas savings, which I don't really like. Like, the tax credit is point of sale. That actually affects what the end consumer has to pay for the vehicle. That should be front and center. That's not the same thing as estimated gas savings over the course of 5 years. They're estimating that to be around $6,000, which for some, sure, it probably gets close to that, but if you get into 5-year ownership costs, then we have to factor in other things like Teslas tend to have higher insurance rates, they tend to have higher registration costs, because many states with the most amount of people tend to push all of the road taxes into your registration that you're not paying, because most others pay for road taxes through their gasoline. Also, EVs tend to wear out tires faster, so after 5 years there's going to be a bit more tire maintenance going on. So personally, I would just drop the whole gas savings thing. That's just too confusing, and there's also a lot of people buying Teslas these days that already have electric vehicles, so I would just focus on the fact that the federal tax credit is reduced at the point of sale, because that definitely makes them look a lot more affordable. But in my opinion, it's a little deceptive to say that the Model Y starts at $29,000. Yeah, it really doesn't. But on the more bright side, because of that federal tax credit applying to the Model X but not the Model S, the Model X, assuming that you keep it under under $80,000 is actually the cheapest it's ever been in the vehicle's entire lifetime. Now starting at just $78,000, and then with the tax credit, just barely over 70 grand for a vehicle with these really fancy opening doors. Maybe not the most practical thing in the world, but still a Tesla with a beautiful panoramic windshield, lots of storage space. It's got a big front, it's got a big trunk, it's a hatchback, still relatively efficient for its size. Just 100 kilowatt hours gets it well over 330 miles of EPA estimated range, which is great. And even that base model gets 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. It's nuts. So there's certainly some good of Elon being a bit more cutthroat lately, like seeing the prices go back down, seeing full self-driving actually become somewhat reasonable. But yeah, the downsides are a bit of a distorted view, which might confuse the general public now, with people feeling like, wait, a couple weeks ago you were telling me the prices were going up. Now right after you warned me about those price hikes, you're lowering them back down again. And now after we've seen full self-driving go from 15,000 to 12,000, now back to 8,000, close to half what they were charging for it just a few months ago, a lot of people, I feel like, are now financially incentivized to wait longer. They're like, well, if Tesla's gonna keep lowering the price, if the take rate's not great, why don't I just hold off and see if these prices drop even further? That's probably kind of a weird, distorted look, and Elon straight up tweeting this morning that all of the ads that the Tesla team were running were just kind of stale and they could have been for any other car. I would like to see what Elon's plans are for, I guess, a bit more aggressive, effective advertising. Personally, I haven't swayed too much from the standpoint that high gas prices are all the advertising Tesla needs. I would rather Tesla cut the budget down, don't spend any money on advertising, and rather just put that money back towards the consumer. I'm more in favor of lower prices for vehicles because advertising increases your customer acquisition costs, which means now you have to sell the vehicle for more money in order to make just as much as you did before. So I'm much more in favor of what Elon apparently is doing right now, just lower the prices overall. But I do feel like a lot of full self-driving previous customers probably feel a little bit ripped off now, especially anybody who paid $10,000 plus for full self-driving. If you don't and you're happy for new customers, that's great. I just think personally, because Tesla has been so steadily late with all of their FSD claims, Elon even this morning tweeting out a video of him at Autonomy Day, which I'm guessing he didn't watch the whole thing. It's a supercut that Farzad made of all of the claims Elon made at Autonomy Day, where he straight up says in that event in 2019 that they expect full self-driving to be feature complete by the end of 2019, and Elon says multiple times in that video that he feels highly confident they will have regulatory approval for robotaxis by the end of 2020. And here we are in 2024, and we're not even in the regulatory battle yet. We're still in the is it feature complete yet, which I don't personally think it is, especially if it's not supervised. But at $8,000, especially after the last couple of years of seeing it float above 5 figures, it definitely feels a bit more practical. I wouldn't say it's worth it, but as much as I despise subscriptions, it's hard to justify that much cash up front for a software feature. Although I will admit, if Tesla started enabling unsupervised full self-driving, at least on the highway, that's all I'm asking for here. I still run into issues where there's a lot of uncertainty and I have to take over with full self-driving when it comes to city streets, particularly with blind spots and stop signs where it doesn't know how much it has to creep out, or it comes to a complete stop at the wrong place. That I understand why it's not quite level 3 yet, but on the highway, it's very stable, it's very predictable, at least for me. So if Mercedes is able to legalize a very strings-attached version of level 3 for their car in the US, I think Tesla should target in the United States if the weather is good and if you're on the freeway, we could have unsupervised full self-driving. But like I said, regulatory approval is far more complicated than most realize, because now how does a cop know that you have the full self-driving suite on your car? If he just drives by you and sees that you're on your phone, he's gonna pull you over and think that you're being reckless, and then you have to explain to him, no, it's okay for me to do this now. Then you've got different highway patrol laws all over the country. So once again, I think the regulatory approval is a much bigger mess than Elon thinks. But if you're looking for reasons to wait, keep in mind that Project Juniper is still probably very real, so refresh Model Ys should be coming out sometime next year, and Giga Texas has been cranking out a lot of Quicksilver Model Ys that even have United States license plate holders on the back, making most people think that a Quicksilver Model Y update is probably imminent, which in my opinion is like the best color that the Model Y has ever had. So I'm really hoping they bring that to the US. It looks like they are based on all of the drone footage we've seen from Joe Tegmeyer. But I also think tomorrow's earnings call is going to be very, very interesting. I mean, how many people are going to be left at Tesla if Elon keeps cutting out chairmen and development people and marketing people? people and of course the entire workforce constantly? Is it gonna be just him? He seems to be really going all in on the robotaxi, which once again, I have my huge doubts about, but I think Tesla has such a successful product lineup with very, very healthy margins and a huge cash pile that they can afford to experiment and make some dumb decisions for a few years and they'll be okay. I'm kind of curious to see what this robotaxi thing looks like and how Elon is so confident about it, and at the end of the day, even if it doesn't work out, it's kind of funny to watch Elon eat his own words sometimes. And because so many other companies I think are somewhat filling the void of what Tesla probably could be doing right now to diversify their product lineup and grab more interest from the general public, and because Tesla's opening up NACS and the supercharger network and everything, I'm like, you know what? Let Rivian handle the SUVs and the delivery vans, and let Aptera handle the cheaper, more efficient vehicles out there. Let's just let Tesla be Tesla, even if this might not go according to Elon's plan, because it rarely does. Kind of like having one of those crazy friends that's like, I'm gonna do a big double backflip off this bridge, and I promise I'm gonna land with my feet in the water so I don't belly flop when I get to the ground. And you don't really believe him. He's probably been drinking a little bit, and you're like, okay, go ahead, man, do your thing. Let's see if you can do it. And if he does it, it's like, cool, that was kind of impressive. And if he doesn't, it's gonna be hilarious watching that belly flop at the bottom. Is that too pessimistic? I don't know how you guys feel about all of these changes that Elon is seemingly making very, very quick and being really upfront. Like immediately after saying they were scrapping the referral program, Elon turned around and said, oh, by the way, we're actually gonna make a new referral program down the line. We're just gonna cancel this one now. But I don't know if Elon's actually gonna think about genuinely bringing back the referral program after just scrapping this really logical one with the credit system where you can adjust the credits or which vehicles earn credits or how the credits can be spent. I thought was perfect and very dynamic for whatever the times have, and yet Elon was like, nah, scrap the whole thing, and by the way, I'll come up with a better one later. He's probably sick of all the YouTubers pushing their codes because a lot of these YouTubers are probably gonna make Tesla positive videos anyway, like me. So my guess is that Elon's updated referral program is going to involve some kind of like in-person referral where you have to have the two phones clink or something because they're sick of all the YouTubers racking up tons of credits. That's my personal guess, but what do you guys think they're gonna do with the updated referral program? All those thoughts, let me know what you're thinking down in the comments below, and thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos, so thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day.